I challenged myself to beat the Legend of Dragoon with the most frail character in the game, because I love to suffer. Usually, she gets to go around with 2 meat shields, but not this time. She's on her own. Technically, you don't get Meru until most of the way through Disc 2. So really, what I should have named this video was, can Meru complete the Legend of Dragoon if all the other characters give her their stuff and tell her all the information that she needs to know about everything in the game, but that was a little too long for a title. The basic rules of this run, just like all of my Legend of Dragoon solo character runs, are that only Meru can do damage and everyone else must be dead before she starts. I also will not be using Meru's Dragoon form at all, because that just seems against the spirit of the challenge. Dragons are friends. The full rules to this challenge are in the describbly-doo if you want to take a look. And Meru's journey starts with the second Virage fight. This fight is actually pretty easy for Meru. She uses strong multi-target magic to take out the arms and the body first, and then a few translights takes down the head. You may notice that this battle is almost identical to the one that Shanna had in her solo run, but that's going to change very soon because Meru needs to use her additions, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Because Garrick and Mappy are next. Mappy has an instant death attack, and both of them together can do strong physical damage, and even Garrick on his own can do strong physical damage. But honestly, this fight was a breeze with just Shanna, so I don't think that Meru's gonna have any trouble with this one. I take out Mappy with some spells. It takes a little bit longer than Shanna took to get through her fight because Meru's magic stat is a little bit lower, and then I work on Garrick. I could just use magic here, but again, I want to get my additions built up. I want to have Meru's best addition, Perky Step, fully maxed out before the final boss, because I don't want it to take a million years like it did with Shanna. By the way, since I'm going to mention it a lot, a link to that run is in the doodly-doo. Feel free to watch that after this one. But anyway, I start using physical attacks on Garrick, and everything's going pretty well until I decide to attack even though Meru is in kill range from Garrick's kick attack. So she goes down. I've already failed in the second battle of the run. Wowza, I suck. But I get up and try again, and this time I just use a healing item instead of dying. You know, like I was supposed to the first time, and we make it through the fight. Next up is one of the big roadblocks in the game for many players, Linus. The problem is that Dart, who's likely the most over-leveled character in a casual run, is Fire Elemental. Therefore, he takes extra damage from Linus's very powerful magic attacks. And Meru, who resists Linus's magic attacks, is normally bodied by her strong physical attacks. But not this time, because she's just a bit over-leveled. And I explained why solo character runs result in over-leveled characters in my Dart solo run. I'll put a link to that in the describbly-doo too. But anyway, because Meru is over-leveled, Linus's water magic does almost nothing to her, and her physical attacks do only a little bit more, and Meru just flies through this. The ghost ship is next, and if you've watched my other runs, you know that I always die to Lumpy Space Princess on the ghost ship. So I took a vow to myself that this time I would equip the proper equipment and I would not die to them. Because they cast the Bewitch status, which basically just makes you attack yourself, or they can stun lock you. Both of those things have killed me in my prior runs. So here's the plan. I equip the accessory that prevents the Bewitch status to start. In the first Lumpy Space Princess battle where there's just one of them, it's not a big deal because I don't even get stunned, it misses. In the second battle though, there's a little bit of an issue. If I bring them all down to less than half health, I will get stun locked. So the first thing I do is hit them all with a dancing ray, which brings none of them down to below half health, so I'm still safe, although my HP does get a little bit low and I'm a little bit nervous, but I heal, it's fine. Then I pick off the first one with another physical attack and a translight. When the second one goes below half health, he tries to stun lock me, but his second stun does not work, so I finish him off with a physical attack and we're good to go. And just to be safe, I use the magic signet stone on the final one just to make sure it doesn't get up to any shenanigans, and they go down, and this is my first time not dying to a Lumpy Space Princess in a run of this game. Tantacles 1, Lumps 0. Oh yeah. The Ghost Knights are next, and 2 dancing rays and a translate takes them out, and then we lose Meru for a while. But she finds us in town before the next boss, and so we head off to Linus 2. Not too much to say about that one. Pretty much the same deal as Linus 1. She can't do anything to Meru. And now Meru gets the heart of the ocean, but she's not gonna use it, so she lets it fall to the bottom of the sea. When she's an old lady, she'll remember it fondly, and she'll remember the friends that she traveled with who did nothing to help her save the world. I guess Dart was cute, though. And we're on to Disc 3. Kamui is no big deal, but now it's time for a lore break. Spoiler alert here for anyone who hasn't played through the game. At this point, there are about 100 things that Meru can do that everyone else can't because Meru is a wingly and can fly. So now we head on to the wingly city Kadessa, where honestly Meru could just fly to if she didn't have all this dead weight with her. And by dead weight, I mean the other party members. Dump the chumps, Meru. But we get her the dancer shoes, which she will keep on for the rest of the game to give her a nice juicy speed boost. And we head on to Virage 3, which we just defend through and it dies all on its own. Got a little close there though, I should be more careful. For the Dragon Block staff fight, I equip her Cool Boogie edition. And it's super weak, but she's not going to take much magic damage, so this seems like a good time to pound that one out. Speaking of pounding one out, hit the like button. Just pound it. See, that's a joke right there. You know, because Meru uses her hammer to pound. And as expected, the Grand Jewel Dragon Block staff thing, while a difficult battle in a normal run, goes down easy for our little wingly princess. Which prompts me to check my additions at this point. Double Smack is maxed out and Cool Boogie is at 69. I did not plan that. Or did I? Okay, no I didn't. For the Divine Dragon though, I do switch to Hammer Spin just to make sure I don't overcap. And this battle's easy too, oddly, which is super weird to me because it does a lot of physical damage. But in any case, if you're wondering how many Hammer Spins it takes to get to the middle of a Divine Dragon Tootsie Roll Pop, well, it's 35. The Abominable Snowman can't do anything to her, and interestingly in the battle with Lloyd, Meru proves that she is actually the strongest wingly in existence. Now the next boss is the Poulter Armor. Of course, an optional boss, but I want to kill it for two reasons. Reason one is I can use it to give Dart the Soul Eater, which will immediately kill him at the beginning of every battle, which is exactly what I want, because then Meru can just do her thing, you know. But the second reason is that I want the Smoke Ball, which will let me flee from any battle. But I'm feeling a little bit impatient at this point, so I hit a power up on Meru and I just sort of go to town with magic items. After one Spectral Flash and one Dancing Ray, the helmet and the sword are dead, and so I go to town with physical attacks on the actual armor. And after this, Maury Povich gives Rose her test results to show that she is the father. And we move on to Disc 4. We get the Psych Bomb X, and granted, this is one of those places where Meru actually does need everybody else because it takes everyone's courage to form the Psych Bomb X. But granted, without the party, Meru could have just flown to Aglis on her own and dealt with everything. So I say that's 1 point for Meru. But something interesting happens on the way to the Kraken. I get inflicted with the Fear status. Now, normally this wouldn't be a problem because I usually carry some status curing items, but I don't have any, so I go into the Kraken with Fear. This decreases the damage that you do by half and increases the damage that you take by 2. But for Meru, this actually has a little bit of an advantage because it means that she can build up her additions more quickly, and I take full advantage of that. Unfortunately, though, the Kraken has these little buddies that do a kamikaze attack when they're about to die. So Meru experiences death number 2. Kind of embarrassing. I think that's the first time I've ever died to the Kraken fight. So then I get myself up and I think I'm gonna go cure the Fear status, but I realized that once you go to Aglis, you actually can't get out. So I'm stuck with this stupid thing that I did.
I've made a huge mistake.
But Meru actually does kill the Kraken on her second try, even with the Fear status, proving that there was nothing to fear but fear itself. I know some famous person said that. Was it Kim Kardashian? Jessica Simpson? Oh, no, it was SpongeBob. But in any case, I cure Meru Spear in the Zenobato shop, and I also grab her a free rainbow dress while I'm there. And at this point, enjoy this beautiful montage of all of the bosses up until Melbu Frama, because they're pitifully easy.
Can't get any colder. I've tried to warm things up without any luck. I know I've been waiting for something to believe in, but right now this really sucks. Would you be honest? Even if you know what I come from, there is no escaping this one. I'll do whatever you say if you stay with me.
Wasn't that fun? But before we head into Meru Frama, let's take a final look at Meru's stats and her additions. So she does have the Basher, a very strong weapon equipped, along with the Dragon Helm, which I grabbed in Divine Dragon Mountain. She also has the standard Dancer Shoes to increase her speed, and the D-Stone Amulet because she will get petrified if Meru Frama wants that to happen to her. It's happened twice now, and we are not having that happen again. She also has Perky Step maxed out with no additional grinding, so that's going to be a great tool to do a ton of damage once we're out of magic items. But before I start talking about this fight, if you made it this far in the video, please subscribe to my channel and consider joining my Discord, where you can get video updates and just talk all about old JRPGs. Link to the Discord in the descriddly diddly do. I've sold this game twice before with Dart and Shanna. You know, if I haven't said that enough already. Dart's battle with Meru Frama took about 54 minutes with suboptimal equipment. When Miranda fought Meru Frama, it took about 2 hours with her best equipment. I used the speed up, speed down, power up, and power down all in succession to give Meru the maximum attacking power when she uses the Psych Bomb X. And I actually do make a teensy misplay here, because take a look at how much a single target magic spell does to Meru Frama versus Meru's final edition. Her final edition does more, so there's no reason to have single target attack spells in this fight. There are only two things in this fight that give me a little bit of pause, and they both happen in the final phase. The first is that the final phase can cause confusion, which can cause Meru to attack herself. I don't like that. And Meru does get confused a couple of times in this battle. However, I get very lucky, and most of the time she just tries to run away instead of attacking herself. The other attack that worries me is the attack where Meru Frama attacks you with a bunch of angels. That can cause a ton of physical damage to Meru, and that is her weakest suit. But ultimately, after only 38 minutes, Meru Frama goes down, which means it's time to place Meru into our new solo character tier list. And there's only one place that she can go, into the S tier. She doesn't need friends, she only needs herself. She should have left those losers behind and taken care of Meru Frama herself. Also, she could have just flown to the Signet Sphere in Xenobatos and taken on Zeke herself. See you in the next one, bye-bye.